Welcome to today's Fire Flow. Today we're going to work on everything legs. So we're going to stretch them, get them active, and yes, hopefully we'll get a sweat going really quick. It's going to be a very dynamic and invigorating class. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to start right into it in Tadasana. So feet hip width apart, palms of the hands facing towards the front, shoulders rolling back. Take a second to catch your breath, maybe closing your eyes. Bringing your attention to the bottom of your feet. Feeling where the weight is going, where the body tends to put the weight on the feet. And maybe it's moving around. Gently beginning to actively trying to distribute the weight evenly throughout all four edges of the feet. Feeling as the feet are almost pinching the ground to ground towards the mat. Energizing all the way up through the body. Blinking your eyes open. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward, reaching for the mat with both hands. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, bend the knees, lower the hips, Utkatasana chair pose, bringing your arms next to your ears, lowering your sits bones, interlacing your hands behind you, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart, hold here, and forward fold, letting the hands hang overhead, bending the knees as much as you need. Releasing the hands onto the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. This time we're going to place our hands onto our thighs. We're going to do an active cat-cow from here. So as you inhale, opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back. On the exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone in. Just like that, 3 more rounds. Taking your time, keeping the sits bones low. Last round, and we'll meet in Utkatasana chair pose. Arms long along the ears, inhale. And on the exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. We're going to bring either hands towards the hips, hands next to the ears, whatever feels best. And we're going to come onto our tiptoes. Maybe bringing our toes together. Pressing through all toes. If you lose balance, that's what we're playing with. So no worries, just step back into it. And we're slowly going to lower all the way down to kneeling, keeping our heels high. Slowly lower, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming all the way down into a squat. Gently, we're going to come onto our backs, keeping the knees bent, coming into a bridge setup, so feet hip width apart. Bringing our heels under our knees and keeping the right leg bent, we're going to bring the right knee into the chest. And you might keep the left leg bent or you might lengthen it forward, whatever feels best. Keeping both feet active, they're looking up. Grabbing the right knee with the right hand, opening it up towards the right. Maybe pressing the left hand against the left hip to keep it grounded. And coming back through center. Grabbing the right knee with the left hand. Not necessarily a twist. We're not going to lift our hips. We're just going to take the knee over towards the left. Maybe feeling a stretch in the outer right hip. And come back through center. If you lengthen the left leg, plant it once again onto the mat, lengthening the right leg up towards the ceiling. Arms next to the torso, and we're going to push our hips up, coming into this variation of bridge pose, following our breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Just like that. 7 more. The right heel is pressing up towards the ceiling. The right leg is also active. And continue at your own pace, moving along with the breath. Last one. Lowering the right leg down, pushing the hips up, and bring the hips back onto the mat. This time, lengthening the right leg as much as you can. If it's not completely straight, that's fine. But we're going to reach for wherever we can up the leg. And maybe that'll be right under the knee or over the knee, the shin, whatever's available to us today. And maybe, again, you'll lengthen the left leg forward. Remember, we're just getting started, so you might be a little tighter than when you warm up. That's fine. And taking the right leg out to the right, maybe grabbing the toe. If it's too much, you can go back to the knee. That's fine as well. And coming back through center, releasing the right leg. Now just slightly, you're going to take the foot over towards the left hip. You're going to feel the whole outer right leg opening. It's a slight movement, but deep feeling. The IT band opening, releasing. And coming back through center, placing the right foot on the mat, bringing the left knee into the chest. Again, maybe you'll lengthen the right leg forward. Maybe you'll keep it bent. Hugging the left knee into the chest, keeping the shoulders and the head grounded onto the mat. And opening the left hip towards the left. Maybe pressing the right hip down to keep it grounded so it doesn't lift when you open. And coming back through center, taking the knee over towards the right side without lifting the left hip. So it's not a twist. It's just opening that outer left side of the leg. And coming back through center. Keeping the left knee in where it is. Placing the right foot back onto the mat if it was lengthened. Lengthening the left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, it doesn't matter if it's completely straight. We just want to try to push the heel up towards the ceiling. And we're going to lift the hips up. Dynamic bridge. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Continue at your own pace, 7 more. Two more. Last one. And holding here, just lowering the left leg to meet the right. Bridge pose, inhale, and lower down. Once again, stretching the left leg back towards the ceiling, this time trying to lengthen the left leg. And if you can, lengthen the right leg forward, pushing through the heel. Doesn't matter how high you reach up, if you're trying to keep the leg long, pushing through the heel, and opening up towards the left, pressing through the right hip down into the ground. So when we stretch the legs, there's many components. It's also the outer hips. It's everything that stabilizes us towards the ground. So as we move today, try to feel the contact with the floor. Coming back through center, and we're going to take it just slightly over towards the right. So yes, as we move today through this sequence, try to be aware of the contact with the ground and how if you're being energized through the ground or you're just collapsing down. And coming back through center, lowering both legs. We're going to come onto our right side, like if we're posing in a 80s, 70s beach magazine. And we're going to bend both knees to feel stable on our side, maybe placing our head on our hand. And we're going to take the left heel towards the left glute, pressing the heel towards the glute, opening that left quadricep. Big fleshy muscle. Hold here for 2 more breaths. On the next exhale, release the heel. We're going to open the left leg out to the side, maybe keeping the knee bent, maybe lengthening it out, grabbing the toe. We're going to pull the leg in towards the side of the torso, opening the hip. So there's many components that stabilize us to the ground, but the legs are our contact with it, and our outer hips, and all. There's many components that make up the grounding through the legs onto the floor. So we're going to work through all of that today. And releasing the toe, stacking the legs, knees bent. We're going to do what I call clams. I'm not really sure what the name is. We're going to keep the toes together, and we're going to open the left leg, opening the hip, trying to keep the toes touching, and lower. 7 more, just like that. Feeling stable, slight engagement of the belly button to feel grounded. Last 2. And lowering all the way down. We're going to come onto our other side, towards the left side. I'm going to switch so you guys can see me. Bending both knees, stacking the right leg over the left. We're going to pull the right heel in towards our glute. Opening the right quad. And 2 more breaths before we release, feeling that big fleshy muscle opening. Very important muscle we use all the time. And release down. Once again, either grabbing the knee, pulling the knee in, or maybe looking for the toe, opening the right leg out to the side. Feeling the grounding, slight engagement of the core to feel stable. And release down once again, stacking the legs. Coming into our clam exercise, opening the right knee and lower, just like that. 7 more, following your breath. For those who don't think we're building fire yet, don't worry. It is a fire flow, and you will feel the fire very soon. Enjoy this while you can. Last 3. Last 1. And closing the right leg once again, coming onto your backs. Hugging the knees in. Massaging the low back. Rocking back and forth all the way up to seated. Crossing your legs, planting the hands in front of you, tabletop position. From here, we're going to do a couple exercises for the glute and the outer hip. We're going to push the right heel up towards the ceiling as we keep the knee bent, keeping the belly button engaged. We're not crunching the low back, and lower. As we lower, we're going to open out to the right side, bringing the knee towards the level of the hip. And lower, just like that. 7 more rounds. Pushing through the heel, keeping the legs parallel, and lower. Feet is flexed as you open. I like to call these donkey kick and fire hydrant kick. Continue at your own pace, keeping the breath present. Pushing through the hands to help you keep a neutral torso. And outer left hip is engaged to not stick the hip out to the side. Last 1. And now we're going to lengthen the right leg out to the side so the heel is aligned with the knee. Gate pose. So from here, walking the right hand along the right leg, opening the left side of the body, feeling it all through the left side of the leg as well. And coming back through center, tabletop position. Other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Donkey kick, lower. Lifting the left leg, fire hydrant, lower. Continue at your own pace, 7 more. Making sure that the right outer hip is stable so it's not sticking out to the side. Last 2. And we'll meet through tabletop, lengthening the left leg out to the side. Lifting the torso, walking the left hand along the left leg. Lengthening the whole right side of the body. Feeling the stretch all the way from the side of the arm, the torso, and the leg. Coming back through center. Coming back through tabletop, lengthening the right leg back. We're going to push through the heel as we open up the whole back of the right leg. Pushing through the hands to really take the heel back. And coming back through neutral, other side. Taking the left leg back, pushing through the heel. Lengthening the back of the left leg. And coming back through center, meeting in downward facing dog. Taking a couple seconds to do whatever feels nice in your down dog. And we'll meet in a steady down dog, reaching the heels down towards the mat as we reach the sits bones up. Long back, maybe lengthening the legs. And bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. We're going to come through 3 Surya Namaskar A's, 3 Sun A's to begin to build the heat. Go at your own pace or follow me. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, step or hop back, plank, or directly into chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. On the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Heart leads down. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, planting the hands next to the feet. Step or float back, plank or chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 2 more rounds of breath. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float or step back through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Lots of Utkatasana. Fierce pose. So there's no fire without the fierce. Lowering the sits bones. Lifting the right leg coming onto, lifting the left leg coming onto the right foot. We're going to lengthen the left leg back. Coming into crescent lunge. Coming into a low crescent lunge. Feeling that right leg engaged. Both hips are facing forward. And we're going to lower into a low lunge. Slowly with control to not jam the knee onto the mat. And lift. 2 more. Lower. And lift. Last one. Lower. And lift. Crescent lunge. Hold. 2, 1. Lengthen the front leg, bringing both hands towards the hips. Bringing the back foot a little closer, planting both feet onto the mat. Hands at the hips, heart lifts, shoulders broaden, hinge forward, reaching the heart towards the right leg. If you tend to hyperextend as I do, this is a pose where you might hyperextend even more, so be aware of maybe micro bending that knee, lifting the quads of the right leg. Reaching the heart towards the thigh, towards the foot to lengthen through the crown of the head. And hands at the hips come all the way up to standing. Both feet meet in the front of the mat. Other side. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Lowering the hips. If we look down, our knees are behind our toes. Arms are next to our ears. Hold. And now slowly shifting the weight towards the left foot, lifting the right with control, stepping the right foot back, crescent lunge. Both hips are facing forward, long spine, bending both legs, and lower into a low lunge with control. And lift. 2 more. Lower and lift. Last one. Lower, lift, crescent, hold. 3, 2, 1, and lengthen the left leg. Bringing the back foot a little closer. A little closer just so you can place both heels down. Usually it's around 1 meter of distance. Hands in the low back. Heart lifts and hinge forward. If you reach for the mat, great. If not, you can place your hands on blocks or on your shin, only if you're not pushing, jamming your knee back. And inhale, come all the way up, strong, long back. Stepping the right foot to meet the left. We're going to separate our feet around mat width apart, and our feet are going to come at a 45-degree angle, so a little out. We're going to lengthen our arms up, and very slowly, to a count to 8, we're going to lower into Malasana Yogi Squat. Slowly bending the knees for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, hold, 3, 2, 1. Bringing your hands in front of your heart, pushing the knees out to open. If you can't place your heels down because you're rolling back, you can place a towel under your heels to support them or just stay on your tiptoes. Reaching the crown of the head up, opening the hips, broadening the shoulders, and lengthen both arms up by your ears. Just as we came down, for a count of 8, we're going to go up. For 8, 7, 6, hold, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing your arms next to your ears. Bringing your feet either hip width apart or together. Hip width is going to give you a little more stability. We're working through these very dynamic balancing poses, and we're focusing on the grounding. So really focus on the grip of the foot towards the mat and how stable it is. It's okay if it's not, but just bring the awareness there of what grounds us to the floor. We're going to shift the weight towards the right foot, bringing the left knee into the chest. Both feet are active. The left foot is engaged. So if you were to let go of the leg, it's still going to be held up. Hold. And now with control, we're going to step back into crescent in a dynamic way. So on the exhale, we'll step back with control. Crescent lunge. On the inhale, come back, knee into chest. 2 more just like that. Crescent. Knee into chest. Last one. And from here, release the foot down. Other side, bringing the right knee into the chest. Right leg is engaged, so if you were to let go of the leg, it would stay at the same height. Shoulders over the hips. Hold here. Opening the right leg. And now with control, letting go of the knee, shifting the right leg back, crescent lunge. Inhale, return through center. 2 more. Exhale, crescent. Inhale, knee to chest. Last one. And release the right leg down. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, we're going to hinge forward, floating back to down dog. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float or step back. Meeting in downward facing dog. Bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible. Coming into a crescent lunge. Crown of the head lengthens and lift all the way up, crescent lunge. We're going to shift the weight towards the right foot. We're only going to be here briefly. And we're going to shift towards a warrior 3. Bend the knee, the standing leg, to really find that stability into the ground. Hands can be in front of the heart or next to the ears. And now we're going to dip into the right knee. So we're going to bend the right knee, lowering the hips, and lift. 2 more. Bend, and lift. Outer hip is engaged. Bend and lift. Warrior 3. Lowering the hands down, lifting the back leg, standing splits. Hold here. Trying to lift the leg and maybe bring your hands a little closer to the standing leg. Slowly lowering the back leg down for pyramid. Both legs straight, lifting the torso up. Same thing. You can either, we're going to do what we just did briefly in the other sequence. But this time you have the option to either grab opposite elbows behind you or reverse prayer to open the chest just a little. If not, the one that we did before. Lowering the torso over the right leg. And come all the way back up through center. Releasing the hands if they are in reverse prayer. And stepping towards the front of the mat. We're going to float, meeting in down dog to do the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float or step back, plank or chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot between your hands. Lengthening the crown of the head, long spine, coming to crescent lunge. A brief crescent lunge as we come into warrior three, either arms next to your ears or in front of the heart. Bending that standing leg to really find squared hips and stability into the ground. Quads are lifting. And on the exhale, dip, lengthening the left leg. 2 more. Dip and lengthen. Last one. And lengthen. Folding forward, standing splits. Reaching the right leg up. All toes are facing down. We're not splurging the hip out. Squared hips. And lower the back foot down, coming for pyramid pose. Whatever version you did on the other side, you'll do on this side. Opening the chest. Folding forward, reaching the heart towards the left leg. And slowly with a long back coming all the way up to standing, releasing the hands, stepping towards the front of the mat. Bringing the left knee into the chest. With control, stepping back, crescent lunge. Adding on to the sequence of last time, you're going to shift the weight towards the right leg, coming into warrior three. Bringing your hands in front of your heart, and you're going to place your hands onto the mat, taking the back leg behind the right, lowering the hips, shrimp squats, and lengthen back. 2 more. Making sure you're lowering the hips as you take the leg behind you. Bending both legs, last one. And keeping the hands where they are, you're going to lengthen the left leg up, standing splits. From standing splits, directly keeping the weight on the right foot, bringing the left knee into the chest, lifting the chest up. Hold here, release the knee, don't let the leg drop. And plant the left leg onto the mat. Whew, that's a lot. Hopefully we started the fire by now. And maybe shake it out, releasing. We're going to shift on to the other side. Bringing the weight towards the left foot. Bringing the right knee into the chest, and with control, stepping back, crescent lunge. From crescent, just briefly coming into warrior three. From warrior three, bending the standing leg as much as you need to place your hands under your shoulders. And you're going to come into shrimp squats, taking the right leg behind the left, lowering the hips, bending both knees. And lengthen back. 2 more. And lengthen back. Last one. And lengthen, reaching the right leg up, standing splits. Foot is facing down, hips are squared. And lifting the torso, bringing the right knee into the chest. Releasing the knee without dropping the leg. And slowly lower the leg down. Okay, a little more balancing poses. I love to do balancing poses for grounding and leg work because it works all the parts of your legs and really works stability, which is through the outer hips, through the quads lifting. So we're going to continue the balancing poses. We're going to shift the weight towards the right leg, slowly coming into a tree pose, maybe assisting the left leg with the hand, only if we can still make sure that both hips are facing forward and not splurging out. Pressing the right leg against the left foot to really almost create like a magnetic force so the leg stays where it is. Holding here. Keeping the left leg bent. You're going to grab the knee out to the side, opening the hip. Hips remain leveled. And now bringing the leg back through center. You're going to let go of the leg and not let it drop. Lengthening the leg towards the front, pushing through the heel. Push, push, don't let it drop, not 1 inch. And release down towards the mat. Other side. Vrksasana tree pose. Making sure that if you're coming really up high with the right foot, the hips remain leveled. So this hip isn't hunching up or back. Hold here. Outer hip is stable. Arms are long. And grabbing the right knee with the right hand, pulling the leg to the side to open that hip and back of the leg. Coming back through center. Releasing the knee, not letting the leg drop. You're going to push through the heel, lengthening the right leg forward. Hold wherever you are. Don't let the leg drop for 3, 2, and release down towards the mat. Let's continue. From here, we're going to come into a wide angle pose, stepping our feet separate along the mat. Making sure that our feet are quite wider apart than we think they are. Usually it's like a wingspan apart. And we're going to take the right leg out to the side. Coming into warrior 2. Lowering the hips. This is one of the longest stands. Trying to bring this leg as parallel to the mat as possible. All about those legs. Feeling the quads lift. The knee is in the same direction as the middle toe. Arms are long. Hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Lengthening the front leg. Bringing the back leg a little closer. Just a tad so you can really lengthen through the torso. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Reaching forward and lowering the right hand, lifting the left. Trikonasana. Slowly looking down towards the mat. You're going to shift the weight towards the front foot, coming into a half moon, planting the hand around 6 inches out of the right pinky toe. The flying leg is strong, pushing through the heel, opening the chest. Feel free to stay here or take it into Chapasana. Slowly coming back from where we started. Half moon, stepping back, warrior 2. Lengthening the front leg, closing the right foot. We're going to bring our feet around 45 degrees in, our heel, sorry. So our feet are slightly out to the sides, and we're going to lower into goddess pose. Lowering the hips. We're going to take our right forearm onto the right leg and lengthen the left arm out towards the right. Lengthening the whole left side of the torso, keeping the hips long. Hold. And come back through center, other side. Reaching the right arm towards the left. Trying to lengthen the arm as much as possible. And come back through center, lengthening both legs. Bringing both feet back to parallel. Warrior 2 on the left side. either heel to heel or heel to arch. Really lowering into that left leg. Hold. Shoulders are over the hips, not surfing forward. And lengthen the front leg. Bring the back leg a little closer. Long torso forward, reaching the crown of the head forward. When you can't reach any further, lower the left hand. Reach the right arm up. Lifting the quads towards the hip. Opening the chest. Shifting the weight forward towards the left foot, coming into Ardha Chandrasana. Right foot is flexed. Outer right hip is also active. Either staying here in Ardha Chandrasana or coming into your Chapasana. Pressing the foot against the hand, opening. And slowly release the right leg, coming back through Warrior Two. And lengthen the front leg, closing both feet. Once again, Goddess pose. Bring the heels in so the feet are at a 45-degree angle. Lowering the hips down. We can either place our hands on our hips, wherever they feel right. We're going to lift the right heel, lower. Lift the left heel, lower. Just like that, 4 more on each side. Trying not to lift the hips. Keep them as low as when you started. Belly button is in and up. Tailbone drawing down. Continue. Last one on each side. Lift, lower, lift, lower, and lengthen both legs. Step it towards the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, step or float back, meaning in downward facing dog. Now, we're going to find our way into a seated position. If hopping through your hands is in your practice, feel free to do that. Bending your knees, looking forward, crossing your legs with control, floating through. Now, keeping the left leg straight, we're going to bend the right leg, grabbing the right foot with the left hand. The right hand is going to reach back. We're going to start with a bent leg, with the left leg bent. As we look over towards the right, stay here. And now maybe begin to lengthen the right leg, reaching the right arm up. Hold, looking behind you if it's available. And come back through center, grabbing the foot if you can with both hands, if not wherever you reach. Long spine, feel the Navasana here, so the lower back isn't rounding. And release down towards the mat with control. Other side. Stepping the left foot in, either grabbing the knee or the foot, reaching the left hand back, beginning to lengthen this right leg if it's available. Looking behind you, reaching the left arm up, finding length through the crown of the head, coming back through center, grabbing with both hands wherever you reach, shoulders rolling back. And when you release a foot, you're going to release it with control, taking the left foot to meet the right, Dandasana. Bringing the right knee back bending the right knee back in. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, twist over towards the right, looking over the right shoulder. Length through the spine. Maybe taking the elbow outside of the right thigh. The right thigh. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. And come back through center. Other side. Stepping the left foot in. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, twist over towards the left. Either hugging the knee in or pressing the elbow outside of the knee as you look over the left shoulder. Breathe, find length. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Coming back through center, Dandasana. Pushing through the heels, Paschimottanasana, folding forward over the legs. Crown of the head lengthens forward. Finding length through the crown of the head and maybe lowering a little deeper. And coming all the way back up, crossing the right leg over the left, aligning the knees. Feel free to stay here, or if you want to take it a little deeper, you can bend the bottom leg as well. Gomukhasana legs, and fold over the legs, almost as if you were melting over your legs, over your thighs. So even if you're not that low, try not to push into it. Just let yourself be, relaxing the head, the neck. And slowly coming all the way back up, lengthening the left leg, reaching the right leg forward. And now taking the left leg over the right, either staying here or bending the bottom leg as well. Stacking the knees and walk your hands forward. As you reach your torso down, your sits bones are grounding. So you're not just letting yourself lift off the mat. Take an inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, feel yourself closer to the ground. Feel the contact with the ground. And come all the way back up. Bringing the bottoms of the feet together. Baddha Konasana. Play around with how tight you want the heels in. You don't want your knees too propped up. You want them slightly relaxed. And from wherever you are, melt forward. It's nice. We're doing it in a yin style to have maybe a bolster, a pillow to kind of hug and let your torso melt. Staying here, feeling all that outer hip open after so much activation through all those balancing poses. And lifting the heart back up, lengthening the legs out to the side, folding over. Same thing, if you have a bolster or a pillow, you can hug it. If not, maybe coming onto your forearms or placing your forehead and just relaxing here. Giving your legs that you owe so much to for all the connection to the ground. Giving them a little bit of love and appreciation for all that they do throughout our day. And coming all the way back up, finding our way onto our backs. So as we started the class, coming into a bridge setup, prepping up to come into full bridge, pressing the arms against the mat, pushing the heels against the ground, lifting the hips up as you shove the shoulders under the heart, interlacing your fingers. Feel the feet ground down as they push up the torso, and the heart shoves over towards the roof of the mouth. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release down. We're going to come up 2 more times. This time for 5 full rounds of breath. Inhale, lift up. Imagine you have a block between your thighs so the legs can't come further out than hip width. And feel as when you push what's touching the floor against the mat, you lift up and energize up. Taking a couple deep breaths, feeling the breath in the low belly. And release down. Last one. Inhale and push up. Deep breaths. The glutes are not fully engaged. The quads are lifting. And release down. Bringing both knees into the chest. Taking your time massaging the low back, either from side to side or circles with the knees. If it feels best to separate the knees, do so as well. Do as you please in these last couple of poses before we enter Shavasana. And we'll meet in the middle, opening your arms in a T, letting the knees fall over towards the right as you look over towards the left. Letting yourself melt onto the ground, beginning to come into that quality or state-like of Shavasana. Maybe closing your eyes and feeling the heaviness of the body with little to no effort. And coming back through center, letting the knees fall over towards the left as you look over to the right. And coming back through center, coming into your version of happy baby, either grabbing behind the knees, edges of the feet, big toes. Pulling one leg, the other, releasing the hips completely, making sure the whole torso is grounded. We're not rounding the back to get any deeper. Again, finding those qualities of Shavasana, of little effort and ease in these poses. And slowly finding our way into Shavasana, lengthening the legs, arms next to the torso, finding symmetry between both sides of the body as we let the body sink a little deeper, almost as if we were becoming one with the ground. For a moment, visualizing and sensing the outline of the body with the contact of the ground, feeling the weight of the outline, grounding, releasing down. Taking a deep inhale in through the nose, and on the exhale, release everything to the ground, melting into the ground. I will leave you here for you to take as long of a Shavasana as you please. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time, for your effort. Namaste.